Grade 8. Here it comes! Hey, run that thing up. Grade 8. Grade 8.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Grade A Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Musa. I got my guy, Ty and Mike here with me. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Not too bad, man. I got some questionable things we're going to talk about from this week's shows. We have some very, very questionable promos and unexpected appearances, to say the least. But if you're watching something, you like to subscribe to the channel, hit that noti bell, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on this week's shows with Raw, NXT, SmackDown, AEW, and TNA. Also, let us know your thoughts on the road to WrestleMania thus far. Is it something that's intriguing, or is it so far just been a blunder, to say the least? But I think we're going to start with the worst of the worst first. I'm going to let Mike take it away first because I know he's been itching to get onto this. Let's start with SmackDown. Mike, you said it's probably one of the worst shows in the last 3 to 5 years.
3 years that WWE's put on for a weekly television show.
So, yeah, I'll let you start off first, and then, Ty, you can take it away.
Yeah, so supposedly was this Road Dogg's first week. They're saying, I don't know if he's been there before. SmackDown hasn't been nothing great for the past year, but ever since it's gone to 3 hours, it's been just a boring watch and tough to sit through. And now that I don't know if it has to do with Road Dogg, I don't know if they had to modify the show, seeing they had the Rock Cody promo, which could be the case, but this was awful. This was one of the worst, as I said, the worst weekly TV show that WWE has put on in 3 years. If you're gonna keep doing this shit with Road Dogg, we go back to like 2016, 2017. Like, what are we gonna start getting Punjabi prison matches at WrestleMania? Are we gonna get John Cena versus Miro in a flag match for his retirement? What are we doing here? Like, if we're gonna keep going down this path, we just need to euthanize the Road Dogg, man. We can't have him running the show like this. This is crazy. And even though I'm blaming him, it's on Triple H because I know he's the guy who everything goes past, it has to go through him, and he gives the okay. So that he's given the okay to this shit and letting it go through, it ultimately falls on his shoulders. And I don't know if they're just using Road Dogg as a scapegoat, but this shit was awful.
Ty?
I mean, Mike pretty much said it all, but yeah, this is, to me, it's all on Triple H, because I believe a report came out start of January about how WrestleMania, pretty much the road to WrestleMania hasn't been penciled in. You know, they pretty much booked up to the Royal Rumble, and everything else after that is pretty much being hot shot. So that's why I think it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see other episodes, especially SmackDown, pretty much get rewritten day of, because I believe they're gonna hot shot so many angles for WrestleMania, and because right now I don't think, other than the women's, they pretty much have put so much thought into anything else. I thought it was a terrible episode. I thought the promo was fine. I don't know about, telling another guy you want to take his soul. I don't know about all that.
Pause.
But
Major pause.
but it did not. I don't know. This could have been a 10-minute promo main event post-match. Post 6-man match. I would have still kept the 6-man match and just have The Rock come out, cut a promo on Cody after he just been in that 6-man match. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Well, I'm kind of in disagreement with both of you guys at certain points. I think Road Dogg did a fabulous job when it comes to booking The Miz and Melo. I think, in all seriousness, I know Melo hasn't been getting the push, and I've been high advocate for him as a late considering his other counterparts. But at least he's been getting the TV time to kind of get his feet wet and get catered to the audience. I think him being with The Miz is going to be something decent to do, give him time to do something. It's probably not going to lead to anything at Mania, but at least it's something that can be on the weekly television shows and get him more reps in and get more familiar with the audience. Although the promo with The Rock and Cody, I thought it was just pointless. I ain't gonna lie, about almost 3 minutes in, I just muted it and I was like, I'll wait till this is over. I'll catch the recap on Twitter or something. They could have done without that part. I feel like The Rock we all love The Rock for his promos and things like that, but as of late, it's just been more like dragged and forced. And he's kind of like teetering the lines with the kayfabe and stuff like that. And it's like, it's ruining the nostalgia of the wrestling for us that grew up on it at this time period. But outside of that, SmackDown was like lackluster. I like what they're doing with Jacob and Solo, how they're slowly building that up. I'm just curious to see who's going to pull the trigger first in that story. Is it going to be Jacob or will it be Solo to start up that feud between the two of them? The only bad part, what up, Clips? The only bad part about that is more than likely Solo's going to have to take the pin. And that's something that I don't want to see. But I don't know. I thought the show was mid all around, to be honest. But I'm going to give Road Dogg a little bit more hope because he just got back. We'll see, hopefully. But, yeah, Mike, what you said about him and his past transgressions with stories, I agree with you on that. Like, it was just terrible. But if we keep getting stuff like this in a couple of weeks, yeah, he gonna have to get the boot. Clips, man, we were just talking about the recaps of the shows. We are starting off with the worst show of the week we can all agree on, which was SmackDown. So if you have any thoughts on the SmackDown show, feel free to just chime in.
Boring.
What about it made it boring?
I mean, realistically, to me, the tag team scene is the hottest thing right now on SmackDown, and that shit was weak this week. I mean, I don't know if it was the crowd, but Street Profits finally coming back. It kind of was like a dull moment. The crowd didn't give them that pop that they probably would have thought would have happened. Along with them still trying to push out this Jade Cargill who attacked her shit. And then on top of The Rock's legendary long ass promo that took up about like 20 minutes. That could have been, placed somewhere else or something. So yeah, to me, I just felt like it was like a slow burn show.
Yeah, I will say the tag team. I feel bad for the Street Profits. I think they deserve the bigger pop. I think that's probably one of the brightest spots. Other shows, them just being, I don't think they're fully healed. I think they just have that more of a badass attitude, and I love every second of it. Especially coming from Montez, being more the mic person, and then you got Dawkins is that muscle. So it fits them perfectly. Something that they need desperately, and I think they're going to benefit the most out of this. And I love what Nick Aldis is doing with them because you have Motor City Machine Guns along with Pretty Deadly and DIY. You kind of niche around that and then bring in Street Profits as those guys that just come in, wreck, shop, and leave. I think it's a great thing for that tag division. Now it's just giving them the time that you do some good matches. So I agree. I think that was one of the bright spots. Unfortunate the crowd wasn't into it by then. Ty, you was gonna add something?
Nah. What I want to add is more so about the build up to Mania. So we'll probably touch into that a little bit later.
We could jump right in now. Actually, if no one else
I just want to say one thing about the Rock Crody promo real quick before we move on. I'm not going to shit on it yet because I think this is going to lead to something good. I understand, like, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's going to be like similar to the Authority stuff that happened," but if they're going to do Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, someone needs to be like that corporate heel, something like that. But personally, myself, I would like to see CM Punk, have them go with him over John Cena. We don't need John Cena in the main event.
So, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. Based on what you're saying, you think this can tie into them having, let's say, if it is Cena or Punk, they turn heel, give it like a Austin Vince McMahon kind of a vibe, like he sold his soul, kind of a deal. Is that, or what if this Cody actually does turn heel and sells his soul?
I'm okay with that too, but Punk keeps talking about that favor. The favor could be that, I'll be that brother that Cody doesn't want to be to you. I'll be that now. You just need to get me that championship match in my main event at WrestleMania that I wanted. So it all adds up if they do it like that. And I know Rock's shooting a movie with a Scorsese movie right now, so maybe he's not able to wrestle and he still wants to be involved in the road to WrestleMania, as the WrestleMania's been pushed back 2 weeks from when it usually is, and the Chamber's later than it usually is. So maybe that's because of his schedule. So if we do see him as an on-screen character, I think he'll do just fine. I think it'll be a good storyline. How we got here is a little messed up with them drinking tequila, being all buddy-buddy back on January 6th. But I don't know if this was all in the plans, this promo that they had, or they're just rectifying their mistakes going out of kayfabe back on January 6th. But we will find out in due time.
Ty, you wanted to touch? We could get right into the Road to WrestleMania, and then we can go back to the shows right afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I believe it's more so The Rock hiring a hitman, pretty much. So right now, I think it is either Punk, or maybe it's someone not even in the chamber. Then we get a screwy finish at Elimination Chamber, and that person gets added to the title match. There's a lot of ways they could go with it, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it because I don't think the person they're going to pick, either if it's Cody turning heel, I don't think Cody turning heel with The Rock as his, mentor. I don't know. That doesn't sell me. I feel like if Rock is going to be a mentor, it has to be on someone, not everyone's thinking. Me personally, I feel like this is a perfect story for Drew.
Okay, because I was gonna mention, what if it's Solo? I mean, not Solo, 5-2. But I like the angle with Drew.
I'm not mad at 5-2, but I think they want to pretty much expand the story more beyond just the bloodline itself. So I do think he will hire somebody, and it most likely will be Punk. But I just don't. I don't know. The Punk doesn't need that corporate evil guy. I don't know. It doesn't sell it for me, in my opinion.
I like that Drew angle. I think that would be a great angle to sell with Drew.
The only issue with that Drew angle was the pretty much kind of getting rid of the storyline where he's hunting down the bloodline. That kind of ruined it. Because then it kind of won't make sense now. But I think it's pretty much a story for Drew, or a nice up and coming heel that can really use that rub. from The Rock. I don't think you need to give it to somebody who's already over, like a CM Punk. CM Punk can become a heel doing anything. You know, CM Punk. We remember him as a heel more than a face to begin with.
Right.
But, yeah.
My only issue with, I don't have an issue per se, so let me rephrase it. My only gripe is the reason why I don't see them going that route with Drew is because I think they're going to have Drew go against Damian at Mania as a filler match. I'm happy to have them both on the card. I think they both deserve to be on the card. I just want more for each of those competitors. And if you can remove that and actually give more women some more rub on Mania, because I think, well, as big as your women's roster is, they deserve more than just the women's title matches on Mania. I mean, you brought in the mid-card titles for a reason. Utilize them. Build up these women so you can have more of a fluidity when it comes to these main roster, main event caliber women. So that's what I hope they'll do. Anyone else got some Mania storylines they want to see kick out clips, Mike?
One thing I just want to add to the Drew thing. So I know you said him going after the bloodline. You can make sense of this. So probably Roman thinks he's that Rock. He thought he was the Rock's brother that he never had before this, and he's saying, "Hey, I thought you had me. Now you're going out trying to get other people." And he doesn't like Roman Reigns. I know he doesn't like the bloodline, but he's still teamed up with Solo and like the Renegade bloodline for a little bit to take out the OG bloodline. So you can make sense of that if we're leading to a Rock Roman match, which I could see happening. But the other storyline I think we're going to see play out this Monday on Raw is I think you're going to see Jade Cargill come back, and I think Naomi and Bianca are going to drop the tag titles to Liv and Raquel, because I think we need to get that storyline sparked if we're going to have a match between Naomi and Jade, Bianca and Jade, whoever the attacker is. You got to get that going pretty soon.
So what if Jade what if she turns heel and joins Raquel and Liv, and it was all a plan? Like that, based on what you said, that I can see them taking that angle. Because I think Jade would be great as a heel. She wasn't bad as a face, but her character, her physique, the aura, it'll be a perfect heel character. And that way you don't have to rush to turn Naomi or Bianca heel, which I really think if any of those two need to turn heel, it's Naomi. I think her character, as the glow has ran its course, I think she needs something new to sink her teeth into. So I do like that approach. Clips, any WrestleMania wish list you have, or routes they would like to see them take for characters and storylines?
I don't have like a wish list. I just need them to speed this thing up here because Cody's kind of drying out to me. Cody seems like it's a little stagnant. His runs are very stagnant. Like I said, the Jade Cargill women's tag team, Bianca, who's the attacker. They kind of shot away from it. Then they dropped that little clip of Liv and Raquel. I just think they just need to speed the process up on some of these storylines. To figure out what their direction is going towards Mania. Whether it be the feud with Dom and AJ Styles, where we don't know where that's going to lead. Probably a AJ Styles Finn match or something like that. I don't. So yeah, I just feel like they just need to speed up these storylines. I don't know if Solo and Fatu is gonna be like on the hour store. Or Solo is gonna be joining Roman again. I don't just figure out the course and speed it up.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna pick up because next week is March, and once it hits March, that's when things get rolling with WrestleMania. Because considering it's in April, so I think we're going to start seeing some things unravel for the good when it comes to WrestleMania season. One wish list, I said it in the private chat when we was talking. We all know Ty agreed they're never going to adopt this system, which I don't see why they won't, especially when they did it with War Games. The way the males mid-card is going on Raw, I wouldn't mind seeing an Iron Survival match at Mania, night one. You got Braun. You got Penta, AJ, Sheamus, and then throw Ludwig Kaiser in that match. And I said if I was to book that match, I'll actually have Ludwig Kaiser win it. Because I think the best thing with that belt is having a heel with the title. because it's like you guys said, it's easier for the face to go for the chase. The face as a chase for the title is always going to sell. You drop Braun with the belt. Now you can move him up to the main title scene because now you're post WrestleMania, so now you can really let him off the leash, so to speak. And then you put Ludwig with the belt, and now you have so many other options to go with that because he's one of those sneaky, conniving heels who will do whatever it takes. So you have him go up against Penta in the program at some point. You can do Dom, depending on if Dom's going to be a heel or a face at this point, post Mania. AJ's in like you have so many different options, and I think Raw is in a good space when it comes to the mid card for the men, and then SmackDown's in a good space when it comes to the tag team division for the men. And I think SmackDown could try to adopt some of the things that Raw's doing and just utilizing more people in the mid card. Because Shinsuke and LA Knight, I'm sorry, I'm over it. I don't care about it no more. Just drop the gift. Let Shinsuke drop the belt. Just have him drop the belt. I'm over this character because y'all not doing anything with him to convince me that I'm going to be invested in this character. You had me with the entrance when you first brought him back. Since then, you haven't done anything. You guys been dragging it, and it's been consistent. Same 4 or 5 people tag match, one-on-one interference. Like, no, I'm done with the U.S. title scene right now. So that would be my dream match for Mania is an Iron Survivor match for the IC belt. Storyline wise, I think they're gonna probably lean AJ and Finn, which will be a great match to see. But we all know Finn Balor's gonna take the pin, and I'm tired. I'm tired of it. At this point, have him lose out, and ship him to SmackDown. And it sucks because Damien's over there, and I want them separated. But maybe a fresh brand of paint, coat of paint, can help him and kind of revitalize him as a singles competitor. I just don't want him taking all these pins and doing nothing with them, just because he just signed a contract extension. So he's gonna be there for a little while.
So they ship him SmackDown, though. They'll probably team both of them back up. You got to remember that too. Seeing they both got exiled by the Judgment Day if that happens.
Yeah, or you can just have Damien in that main title scene and just put Finn in the mid card. Because I think at this point in his career, Finn in the mid card and having a good run with the U.S. title is not a bad thing at all. In fact, it will bolster that mid card scene. It'll get him kind of refreshed and retooled, and it can help build up the other younger talent. Because obviously they're gonna eventually have Melo be a face at some point in his career. Albeit I love him being a heel. But who's to say they don't call up Trick Williams by SummerSlam or around that summertime frame? You have him feud with Finn, and that jump starts Trick versus Melo. There goes your mid card right there program for a couple months. Depending on what they do, they like to shake things up and do these so-called drafts. So we'll see. Any other thoughts on the road to WrestleMania? How you guys feel about the women's titles? Because we see Tiffany's going to go against Charlotte, but what the hell are they going to do with Rhea? I know they got the Women's Chamber coming up, but I'm not really sold on whoever's in it. I feel like, because I don't think Io's going to have her match after Chamber, so I'm like, what's the direction for that? I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
I got Bianca winning the Chamber personally. You take the titles off them. This Monday night, Jade comes back. You have Bianca side with Jade if you want to do that, or side with Naomi. Either way, as if you said earlier, if Jade goes heel with Liv and Raquel, that way you can free up Bianca to go play either side. She can still be friends with Naomi. Naomi can go against Jade, or she can still be friends with Jade, and then Jade will go against Naomi, and she can go after Rhea. But I don't know. I'm sorry, Bianca can go after Rhea, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do personally with that match on the Raw after Elimination Chamber with Io and Rhea. I know some people are saying, "Oh, there's going to be interference, and we're going to see a triple threat at Mania." I don't know if that's really going to happen. I'm totally lost why they waited that long to have that match, but hopefully they can make sense of it, and it was the right call.
I wouldn't mind seeing a triple threat because I feel like they're letting Io Sky waste, and she's too good of a talent to have nothing creatively done for her at Mania. I'm looking at the card I'm looking at the Chamber match now. You got Bayley, Naomi, Roxanne Perez, Liv, Bianca, Alexa Bliss. We all know Liv's not winning. Liv's not
Alexa
winning.
Bliss is not winning.
Alexa
either.
Bliss is not going to win. You're not going to have her feud against Rhea creatively to have her lose. That just doesn't make sense. And she's a face. You don't want to have a face versus face at Mania, especially someone if it's not on the level of the Mega Powers or Ultimate Warrior Hogan, which we're going to talk about Tessa Blanchard once we get to TNA. We're going to get to that.
Why are they similar? No, I'm just kidding.
But you're not going to have Bliss win or Liv. I highly doubt Naomi winning. Roxanne is too close because she's going to be feuding with Bayley. So the obvious winner, to your point, Mike, is probably going to be Bianca. And I think it's going to be so underwhelming because at this point, no one wants to really see Bianca and Rhea only because of where their character's at currently. So unless they do a good job, to your point, Mike, switching it up where they have either Rhea or Bianca turn heel, then I don't know. But you guys know how I feel if Bianca goes against Ripley at Mania, who I want to win. So any other thoughts on just the women's division itself going into Mania so far?
I think the problem, if you have Bianca win, Jade's return has to wait till Mania. I think that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be the closing angle to that match, Jade returning. In my opinion, I think they should just do Roxanne Perez.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Just to give it something fresh, because it doesn't look like Rhea's gonna drop the title anyways. So just give someone that spotlight where they can afford to pretty much lose, but win because it was in that match. I don't know. The Bayley, I could see that, but it's just
I don't want to see Bayley and Rhea.
Nah, but I feel like Bayley's gonna be in a feud with Roxanne, low key.
They already are.
But I feel like it's going to extend to Mania.
Yeah, turn up
the heat. You think they'll put that on the Mania card, Bayley and Roxanne?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they'll put that on the card.
I would love that, but I don't know if they will do it.
Could be on Stand and Deliver though too.
And that's where I was thinking that I could see that being more likely. Although to your point, Cliff, I would love to see that on a Mania card because, like I said, they need to utilize this woman division a lot more on both brands.
Hear me out. Let's say.
Oh, we got the hear me out segment.
Let's say Naomi, Bianca lose the belts, right? Boom. They drop them to Liv. Boom. Cool. Now, Elimination Chamber come. The interference is Jade, but not to help Liv, but to attack either Bianca or Naomi.
So, in other words, Jade turns heel.
Boom, Jade turns heel. Not even turns heel. She can still be the face, but then you would have whoever she attacked. Like it would be like an anti-hero type of situation. And then that can probably lead to. I don't think they leave Jade off of WrestleMania, so I feel like she's going to be fighting one of them two at WrestleMania.
And to be honest, if it's going to come to that point, it's going to be Bianca. But that's why I said she will be heel, because I don't see, given where the character and the storyline's at, I don't see her.
It might be a triple threat.
They can do that too, but WWE don't like doing things that will make more sense. They like to go outside the box, if that makes sense. But I just don't see where they have Jade come back, attack Bianca or Naomi, and she doesn't become the heel. So, but that's still a good point nonetheless. Any other points on the women's division? Because we got the tag team division that's just like, and that's the problem. Like they're holding the belt, so you can't even let other women get involved. Which is why I think they should lose the belt Monday, because you can have no direction for Liv and Raquel. You can have them do something going into Mania with those belts. Well, speaking of Chamber, we also have Stratton and Stratusfaction against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, who will be eating the pin. which we all
I have a huge problem with this match, and I'll tell you why. So, last episode, I believe I said that I'd rather see Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus against each other than Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. Because if we go back to Money in the Bank, they had that encounter in the back where they weren't too friendly with each other. I thought they were going to build up to that match going into War Games last year, seeing that was in Canada as well, but that didn't happen. So now all of a sudden they're buddy-buddy, unless we're going to see Stratus turn on her at some point, which I don't think is going to happen, seeing we already got the Charlotte match built in. That's a logic gap, in my opinion. You can't have them in the back before, just have that encounter, and now they're best friends teaming with each other just because she's Canadian. You want a match to get them involved with each other. I don't like that at all, personally.
Maybe she interferes and they add Trish to the match, and it's a triple threat.
I was thinking that too, but also they can have, because you got a gap between March 1st until Mania, so you can have Trish turn on her at the Chamber, and then have a little program between Stratus and Stratton. Probably build up to a big show on the weekly show. Or I don't know if they have a Saturday main event before Mania. I have to double check the PLEs coming up.
No, not until after.
I don't think so, right? I think Chamber's the last paper PLE before the Mania. So yeah, you can build up.
They could put one in April if they want to put one.
They don't have Fastlane. They don't do Fastlane.
Well, they're doing them quarterly, so we've already had our one from January 1st to March 31st. Right. But they could still put one in those first 2 weeks of April if they wanted to. But I think the quarter 2 one, if I remember correctly, I think it's in June if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't know that for sure.
I can see them still doing a little small program, and they end up doing something with Stratus and Stratton before Mania. But who knows? Last thoughts on the road to WrestleMania before we move on to the next show.
The only thing I'll say is for the women's division, I'm on the same thing as you. If Bianca does win the Chamber, I want to see her beat Rhea. I did not want Rhea to get the title back in the first place. We already saw before she got that injury last year, a year plus of that pretty much. And I think you've gone through all of our opponents. I know you're going to call these women up from NXT, but you need to build them up before you put them right into that title picture. So I think whoever wins this Chamber, you need to drop the belt to them as long as it's not Liv Morgan. Do not have Liv win the Chamber.
Yeah, and we're going through a accidental reign of terror phase with Rhea in the belt, like Triple H did in the Ruthless Aggression era. And I think that's why it's so critical that they build up that mid card for the women with Lyra Valkyria, which I love her work in the ring. Something about her character is missing for me to be fully invested. And that's why I think her and Becky will be a great match for Mania with that belt on line to help establish the belt even more. Or they can, be honest, put the belt on Dakota Kai and just turn her heel. Like, Kai did her best work as a heel. Like, some of these things is not that complicated to do and right. Some of your best stars, like Raquel, Dakota, were best as heels. Although they had Dakota and Raquel split, and Raquel turned up being a face, but you can keep them as heel. But the heel work that Raquel's doing now is more like a Diesel and Shawn Michaels kind of thing. Turn Raquel back to that badass we know she was as a heel. She was taking prisoners and not asking for any second thoughts. That's the heel that she can be, and she can fit best in. That's the one her and Rhea had their best matches. So I think, to your point, if they're going to call people up, you got to build up that mid-card so that way they can fully establish themselves and then get into the main roster, the main title scene. So
look at how much they hurt those titles already, though. Within 1 week, we put both of the title holders in Elimination Chamber qualifying matches and have them both pinned. And Lyra hadn't even had a defense at that point. That's already a huge misstep with those titles. And then on top of it, you're teasing this match with Ivy Nile for weeks, and then you have Dakota Kai become the #1 contender. What are we doing there? Like, unless we're just going to have Chad Gable treat them like he treated the Alpha Academy. I'm very confused what they're doing with this.
And that's one of my biggest gripes. And I was waiting until we got back to the show, so I guess we can start with Raw going in. That's one of my biggest gripes is the fact that I think Ivy Nile would do wonders for her career and character work if she was that heel with the mid-card title. That's why I always said I love having heels hold the titles before a face, because the story always sells itself, having the face be to try to chase after the title against the bad guy or bad girl heel. I think Ivy Now's ring work is really solid enough to where you can try to work with her on the promo and character work to where you could build up that mid card title really well. And you could do the same because you have American Made, the Creed brothers, just doing nothing. And that's one of your best tag teams on the roster. Which, by the way, when we did the draft, I knew I was forgetting. Oh, no, never mind. I think Ty took American Made. Never mind. That's why I forgot about them. So I forget they're in that fraction. I'm used to them being the Creed brothers. But you have one of the best young athletic tag teams just doing nothing at all in a division that needs a spark. Like, at this point, they need to hire us and let us write for the tag division in the women's division. Hey, just let me write. I ain't asking for much. That'll be, just a little conversation. You know what I'm saying? Check out the show, man. We got some good ideas on the platform here. But nonetheless, though, I just think Nia definitely deserves to be in that match. I feel like to make it up to your point, Mike, is if with the championship match tomorrow between Kai and Lyra, have not Ivy interfere. And then you can set up a triple threat at the Chamber or next week's show. Why not? You only got, 3-4 matches on the card anyway.
Well, we're going to count that segment that The Rock has as a match, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
I was hoping not to think about that. And that's another thing to your point, how they're just hunting the mid-card women's titles. You're not even using them on PLEs either when you have opportunities to do it.
Look at the tag titles. When did we see those on PLEs until the Royal Rumble, until they got split last year at Mania?
And that's the problem. And that's why I think WWE as a product is like kind of like, you're selling out these sold out the reason you're making all this money, but the product is kind of dying down a bit because you don't have no balance. Like, it's just so top heavy, and everything else just falls by the wayside on the main roster. And now the thing is with NXT, why we're gonna save the best for last to talk about, is because now NXT starting to flush out the main card with everything else that has been so good on the show. So that's why it's even more invested to watch because everything else starting to get more balanced. Like how we was going to watch, and you had the tag division, the mid card was there, but you had other things to watch outside of the main wrestlers you wanted to see, and they're not doing that same thing with this current day product. So, but back to Raw. What did you guys, Ty, Clips, what do you guys' thoughts on Raw this past week?
I mean, it was your typical Raw, in my opinion. Nothing really too flashy. I don't know. I think the main roster right now is just being beaten by NXT so bad, to the point where it's like there's honestly no point of watching Raw or SmackDown. You want to enjoy your wrestling for the week, watch NXT, and just watch Raw, SmackDown through Twitter at this point, because you're really not gonna find anything. Pretty much, I think the best thing was Finn Balor getting pinned, like he always does. I mean, it was just your typical Raw, but I do agree, especially with them having their their whenever times. It can go to 3 hours. It can go just 2 hours. I thought they would use that more to their advantage and put on these other matches and build up all 25% of the roster that's just sitting back there doing nothing.
Legit.
Apparently, it's like they want to get to 2 hours. Then if the main event hasn't started by then, they'll do like a quick segment, then main event, then that's it. That's your Raw.
And that's the sad part, is because the 2.5 hour, 3 hour show can work if, to your point, they can use that time to build up. You don't have to build up these programs with these superstars to be on PLEs. You can build it up to be regular weekly shows that people want to invest in and have the climax on the show. But they're not even doing that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting tired of seeing Karrion Kross with these backstage stuff and not having it come to fruition. And I love the work he's doing. But when is he going to actually benefit from this? Like that's what I'm waiting for, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Like so to your point, I agree with that.
Well,
Clips.
the thing.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, no, go to clips because I was gonna say it's not. I was just saying about Carrion. We're gonna build him up probably to get a match with Sammy. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping if Randy comes back.
Ty, you want to add something?
Nah, I would say I did like the interaction between Jay and Gunther, but also I just feel like I know what type of story they're trying to sell. They're trying to tell with it, and Gunther's like pushing him off, but like it's really beyond kayfabe. I'm sitting there wondering, does Gunther really think that they made a mistake making Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble?
If
So
he
I would
that, then he's doing some great character work.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I was, the first stream we had, I said I wasn't digging it, I wasn't liking it, but honestly, out of every match, potentially so far, in the ones that they've announced, this is the only one that's like really knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. Nah, we really need is Mr. Big Jim on the Mania card. Look at Mike. Mike's like, yeah, whatever.
The thing is, bro, I'm just saying you need to build him up, bro. They haven't built him up enough yet. If you build him up, you give him the same push that you're giving Jay, where he goes for a quick token like mid card title.
Give him the United States title, yeah. Give him the U.S. title at one point.
I'm thinking I got a couple hot takes, but I'm waiting till we get to that point. But like, since we're on the Jimmy subject, I think he's better on the mic than Jay anyway.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
Like what? I'm sorry, I love.
Hell no.
Yes, he's way better on the mic.
Yeah, I agree.
He's way better.
Like touching the crowd, fuck no.
No, see, that's the difference between touching a crowd and just doing a promo is two different things. I think the reason why Jay is so more investing to watch is because of how he got built up. The right-hand man, the trials Rich he had to go through with Roman. So as a crowd, you're going to be more invested in that because you want to see him win. And the story they told, right? Where with Jimmy, he was kind of on the behind the 8 ball because he was the heel still. He also got hurt. He was hurt before they started this whole thing, and he was hurt prior, during it, and prior. So he's kind of behind. Now, when it comes to ring ability and ring work, I think Jay is slightly above him because he's been able to be more consistent. But when it comes about what they can do in the ring, I think they're damn near the same. Super kick, super kick, super kick. So that's what I'm like, all right. But Jimmy added that whisper in the wind to his thing. That it looked a little sluggish, but it's nice nonetheless. But I just think when it comes to this cutting promos, I think Jimmy's a better promo guy than Jay. And if you even look back to when they was teaming, Uso Penitentiary, a lot of times Jimmy was the one carrying those promos, and then Jay was finish it off. I don't know. It's just Jay doesn't sell me too much on some of his things. We'll go to WrestleMania. Yeet. Oh, beat his ass. Yeet. Like I'm like, we got the week. You got to give me something more than just that, bro. But I'm not mad at it because I understand what they're telling with the story, so I can see both sides. But I could definitely see Jimmy at some point being a good mid card. I don't know if they're gonna give him that strap like they're gonna do with Jay because he hasn't cultivated the fans to your point clips, but yeah. I got some other hot takes y'all not gonna like. So
they got to build him up though. That's the thing because they took a while to build Jay up to get him where he was. He main evented SummerSlam with Roman. He did the Deuces thing. They gave him a whole like year and a half. He won the tag team titles with Cody. He did a lot of stuff before he got to that level. So I'm not opposed to having Jimmy get there eventually. I just don't want to see it this year because I just don't want it to just go up and give it to him and not have the proper build up. Because if you have the proper build up, you're going to get the crowd more behind him. He's going to be just as over as Jay, and you're going to have a better moment when he finally does reach the peak that we'll see Jay reach at WrestleMania.
I'm walking to WrestleMania. Yeet. I'm gonna do what they said I couldn't do. Like I love that, but then it's like, all right, I want to hear some, like I think it was the promo before he announced he was fighting Gunther. That was one of his best promos, where because you could feel like, yo, y'all keep doubting me, I'm gonna prove you wrong. That's why I said, although I don't want to hear it every week, I understand and I respect it because I understand what is going for the storyline. I think Jay could cut way better promos than what he's been doing, way better. But he's going with the storyline, and I appreciate that. But anything else you guys want to talk about regarding Raw before we get into the? We're gonna start with AEW to save the best for last. NXT.
Braun and AJ. But hopefully they carry that out. I like that a lot.
You like it for Braun's sake, I'm assuming.
I mean, I love AJ too. I mean, AJ obviously they're not gonna have AJ win, but just to get him to look, to get him against the new hot young star, because the dogs are gonna howl, boy. And
hey, how much they gotta pay you comes to take a spear from Braun Breaker?
Yeah, fuck out of here, nigga. I ain't Speed.
Like, looking like Speed. Looking
that nigga. You see how that nigga came off the ropes, bro? That was ill intent, bro. That was a football hit. He took a football hit, bro. Like, no.
You got to pay me a couple 6 figures,
That ring ain't soft either. That's padding and wood, bro. That shit ain't soft.
Hey, I'll take a spear from Braun Breaker.
He had whiplash. You crazy as hell. The way Speed sold that shit.
I was about to say, better end up like Speed.
Nah, I'm not, because if you look at it, right, Speed wasn't expecting. He's just sitting there like
he was in Crocs.
If I'm expecting it, I'm jumping into it as he's coming at me. If that makes sense. Yeah. So like if he's running towards my left, this shoulder, my right shoulder, I'm gonna be jumping with my legs out so I can absorb some of that and get more protected. So it's not as bad. I'm not ending up like Speed though, because the way Speed took that hit, my boy, go back and watch it. He was stiff. So that's why he as soon as he went like this, he said, "Whiplash." He wasn't ready for it. Nah.
Shout out to Speed, though.
I'm being prepared for that hit. I'll tell you what, I'll take a spit from Braun Breaker before I take a chop from Gunther.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You're bugging.
I'll take a chop. Because here's the thing. As hard as he's gonna hit, that chop, you're standing, so you can sway a little bit. That spear.
So the reason why I'm saying that is when you watch the videos, like shout out to Chris Van Vliet, great work he's been doing with the industry. He actually was, I don't know if it was from Gunther, I don't remember, but he actually took chops before. And how it is when you're in the corner, you have to stay upright. So you had to take it like right here.
Oh, see, you're talking about in the corner. I'm talking about, how they stand in.
Or if you're standing in the middle of the ring, you can't. You have to take it upright.
But you can sell it to where it doesn't hit as much. That spear, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like when when I mean taking a chop from Gunther, it's no swing. You got to stand up. You can't like try to sell it. You got to take the shot for what it is. With the spear, and shout out to Maven because I was watching his show. They was going over some of the secrets behind some of the finishing moves, and one of them was the spear. And that's why I was saying with Braun, if I could see it coming, with the spear, when he's running towards me, I can, as he's leaning towards me, I can kind of catch it and lean backwards, so that way it's not full on impact, and that way it's protecting me and him, as opposed to what Speed did. Speed's just stiff. So then he just kept the full contact, like he was one of them crash dummies.
I'll take my chances with a slap to the chest before a football NFL.
Ty, you've been quiet.
NFL player coming at me with straight shoulders.
Ty, be honest. For 6 figures, which one you taking? The Gunther chop to the chest, or you taking that Braun Breaker spear?
For 6 figures? I didn't know we were doing 6 figures.
You're like 500K.
I'll take both of them.
I said this. I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
I'll ice up my chest or something. I'll be all right. Now, what's the cool thing is too, because I know we got a little off track, but when I was watching the Maven episode about the finishers, they went over how to do the curb stop, and that was actually pretty interesting. It's more on the person that's doing the curb stop to protect as is the person that's taking it, the bump. When it comes to moonsaults, you just got to pray. You got to pray as the person that's taking the moonsault. So that makes me even more acknowledging for those who take those moonsaults from like the Fatus of the world, angles and things like that. And they went over the bonsai drop that Yokozuna used to do. I had to prepare for that. They said you don't prepare for it. The most you can do is when you're laying down, you got to kind of like curl up a little bit. Kind of like if you're doing 6 inches, if you ever worked out, where your legs are kind of elevated so you can take the blow a little bit better. That's all you can do. But let's get sidetracked with that. Let's get into AEW. We have Collision and Dynamite. What did you guys thoughts on that show?
Coming out of Grand Slam, I know there's a lot of controversy over the ring, which I don't know. It definitely, I could see it when you first saw it, but it didn't really affect the action too much. The only thing that's bad is if it's true that Buddy busted up his ankle because of that. That's a problem. That if you aren't doing that work to protect your talent. But overall, I thought Grand Slam last week was a great show overall, personally. And Dynamite, I thought this week was it was pretty good too. Collision last night, not so good, but it is what it is. It's a Collision coming right after a TV special, so it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. But I personally, the 2 best nights are the 3. We'll go even 3 best nights of wrestling. So I sort of incorporate NXT and TNA into the same thing right now. Seeing you got both talents on each. So, but right now the best nights of wrestling are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for me.
Yeah, what were some bright spots for AEW this week on the show?
Definitely. Yeah, to kick off the show, the Hangman and MJF promo, without a doubt, that's going to be a very good feud as long as they build it up right. Because we've seen before, we think they're going to go this way and they don't. But the creative has been much better the past 3 to 4 weeks in AEW than it has been in the past. I don't know if Scott DeBoer is helping them out or what's going on. If Tony's listening to people, I don't know what's going on there. But shows have been very good coming out of AEW the past few weeks, and hopefully they continue that way because AEW can be better than WWE when they do stuff right, especially with the roster that they have. But with this whole Death Riders thing with Cope, I don't know what they're doing with this, because seeing we had Cope get choked out in Australia, that would tell me that he's going to get the title at Revolution. But do we really see them just doing this whole it's damn near 5-6 month build now with the Death Riders story just to give Cope the title? I think that's just sort of a waste not to get someone younger over if they do that.
Hot take, someone that I would like to see with the title, Powerhouse Hobbs.
You could have done that a month ago if they wanted.
I would have not seen my dog belt. I think he's more than deserving. I think some of the AEW originals who haven't really got their fair shake at, whether it was due to injury or just creative, like a Hobbs and etc., definitely deserves that push. I love what MJF and Hangman's doing is good, because I was starting to get nervous about MJF, not because of his ability, but like creative. Like, what are y'all doing with this man? He is by far could easily be the face of your company, by far. Him, Darby could easily be that guy. And you're kind of not really utilizing him. And you have the TV time weekly to tell a story. You could put him on Collision, help put more ratings to that for a little bit, just so you can have more people coming in and having more draws to the product. But yeah, I would like to see Powerhouse Hobbs get the title. Ty, what is some of your bright spots of this week's show, or even Grand Slam? Because we didn't talk about the PLEs yet.
I mean, Grand Slam. I would say one thing. I was very kind of shocked. Tony Storm won. You know,
really?
Yeah, because not to spoil Collision as well, but they're gonna fight again at Revolution. And it's going to be more of it's billed as a Hollywood match. So Hollywood it's going to be a Hollywood ended match. So this is pretty much the gimmick match. And to be honest, Tony has to win that. But I just feel like after that, the question is, where does Mariah May go from there? I feel like if you were going to have that third match, I would have had Mariah May get that heel heat in Australia to end Grand Slam on some screwy finish so we can get that that Revolution match. I know they're going to build it up, so don't be surprised that this build-up is going to be better than a lot of build-ups for WrestleMania, because this feud has been one of the best since it started anyways.
It's right up there with Punk and Drew.
Agreed. But other than that, Dynamite, yeah, Hangman, MJF, pretty much carrying this this show. But it sucks because when you have two people who are main eventers and world champion caliber, wrestlers, go do that, then you're gonna end the show with pretty much Mox, Cope. Like, that's, I don't know.
Can they please probably use Jay White and Okada, please?
The problem with Jay White is too much like start and stop pushes that they keep doing. It's, I don't know what's going on. But to answer the question, what they do with this Mox and Cope thing, I think there's only two routes you do. I think they're actually just gonna keep filling time till Darby comes back, and Darby's the guy to take it off of Mox because that was the original plan. Or they have Cope win, but don't forget Christian Cage still has that contract to get a championship match. And pretty much he already did something similar when Cope won the TNT title, beat him the same night to take the TNT title. So don't be surprised if you see that again, but with the AEW World Championship. And I kind of prefer that because I think Christian Cage can actually make the main event scene way better than it is right now.
Especially as that heel that he is, where he's uncut. Like, he's gonna make you hate him as a heel, and that's what you want.
Exactly.
But of the year.
But I agree with Mike. The last couple weeks, it's been a complete flip. Booking wise for AEW. Right now, they just got to focus on what they're doing for that world title booking. But other than that, solid Dynamite. Grand Slam was also solid.
I honestly wish that Jay White just came to WWE when he was supposed to.
He would have done the same thing.
I think he'd been really good. I think to start off, he would have been a little shaky because Vince was still in charge. But I think Jay White would have flourished in the current state of WWE right now. He don't even have to be on the main roster. He could be NXT. And then you could bring in the Guns. And then that trio alone can, do some dead. I think the Guns will help a lot with the tag team division because they definitely need a real heel people can get behind on either brand. Well, mostly Raw because SmackDown's pretty good with what they got working with finally for tag division. And then you have Jay White to the picture. You don't have to put Jay White into the main card yet. You could put him in the mid card and have him run through that and then move him up. But I think he would have benefited a lot more. But
look at the Guns. They took away from Jay White. They have him come out and challenge the Hurt Syndicate and have them lose their first match back. So I don't think they're going to be doing much with the Guns in AEW.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. and Finley's hurt too, right? No. Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson. Yeah, I'm thinking about someone else. But
David Finley?
Yeah. I was thinking about David. I'm going back to the New Japan days.
He's still over. His son's over there now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But as far as the show goes, I think Grand Slam was really good. The weekly show for Dynamite was good. Collision was solid for what it's worth. My only issue with the Grand Slam was the ending. I know it was pre-recorded, but to have pre-recorded knowing that she was gonna have Tony get her moment in Australia back home with the title the way they did. But they could have given her a little bit more time before they cut it the way they did. But that's a small gripe. I think the match with Powerhouse Hobbs and Thing was pretty good.
Big Bill.
Yeah, Big Bill. I was about to call him his old name.
Yes, yeah.
We have a comment. Hassan Terrell, hi there, guys. I got my new haircut today. Oh, nice haircut, I guess. Thank you for the comment. We appreciate you. So that's my take on AEW. Clips, do you have anything you wanted to add or say on your thoughts on the AEW show this week, or even Grand Slam? And then we're gonna move on to the cross the line segment with Nxtna. So. We'll get back to Clips once he's ready. So we're gonna move right along with the show. We're gonna get right into the TNA and NXT talks. Obviously, Vengeance Day was a great show. This week we had a great show with TNA as well as NXT. So I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on the show and what you guys think about crossing the line, because they sure did a lot of that this week.
Yeah, TNA, best show of the week by far, I thought. I don't know if this was everyone, but with my cable, the way Access TV broadcasted, a ton of technical difficulties through the whole show. I know they usually don't do live recordings. They did the first one, I believe it was in 8 years last month, and there was a lot of issues. Regardless, it was still a great show, and I wish they'd do live every week, because, like, you go back to last week's TNA, and that's probably the third or fourth recorded show in a row that you got, and you can tell just they're running out of stuff. The talent's been overused. You can't keep recording all these shows just in 1 to 2 days if you want to get back up to that old daylight Spike TV TNA level, personally, I think. But crossovers that we got there's going to be a lot of NXT talent on the Sacrifice card coming up. It looks like we're going to get some matches next week on TNA. I know it's already been recorded with some of the NXT people. And then I know NXT is going to, I think it's Cincinnati, I believe, this Tuesday. And they're going to be having some crossover matches
King
there.
And Moose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, I thought it was a great show with the clones coming back. Elijah, that was to have him team up with Joe Hendry, and then I don't know how much longer we see Tessa Blanchard. She got a lot more heat.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That's not heel heat. That's get the hell
legit.
out of here heat. Yeah, so they can't keep having that happen, especially with a WWE partnership, because I can't see WWE being one to tie that, because my guess is they would have liked to sign her if she didn't get this reaction with the crowd and everything went good in TNA, but I don't see that happening, especially if it continues on like this with the next places that they go.
We're in an era now where once you find out you do what you did, Tessa, and, obviously people change and stuff like that, but they're not going to let you forget about it. When people have their feelings about you and opinions on you, they're going to most likely keep that. And sometimes you got to just live with some of the consequences and choices you made. It sucks because as an in-ring talent, she's one of the best, by far one of the best. But it's just your choices outweigh your talent. And just seeing that promo, and then you heard Santino Morelli even come out, and while she was still trying to cut the promo, and that's how bad it was. It was just like, sucks. But I think they're gonna be in good hands considering what they got with NXT being a merger. I love the Clones coming back. It was a nice touch. I love Oba coming back out there, teaming up. Now he's teaming up with the Hardys. That's gonna be against the System. That's gonna be a great match. Man, we get Moose and Oba Femi. You don't know how much I've been wanting to see Moose on WWE, especially in the video game, because that interest is fire. But I think it's great. Now I would like to see him drag this until Stand and Deliver, because I don't want it to be prior to that, because then what is the direction for Stand and Deliver for Oba Femi? The unfortunate part is we all know Moose is going to take the pin. NXT's they're not gonna have him lose unless they have a program where they go to TNA for a PLE, and then he could probably eat a pin there. But on the NXT stage, I don't see them having him drop the belt to Moose unless it's a non-title match. Then all bets is off, because they did that with the whole Rascals program where they did have Wesley lose on the NXT PLE, so it can happen. They don't have a name yet, but I love what they're doing with the new faction out there. What how they beat up Oba at the end of the PLE, how they came out, and then what they did on the past show. I love everything I'm seeing from how they're building them up. Now I just want to know who they are. What's their backstory? Also, we know who they were separately as a group. I know you have some issues with some of
if you watched them before, this does not match up.
It doesn't, but look, Seth wasn't Steph. We remember he was Tyler Black, and he was completely different. It's the same. So like same with Roman and Dean. So I think it can work, given the right creative story. So I'm all ears and open to it. I love the look. I love everything they're doing. I was questionable why they attacked him at the end of NXT in the office, but they probably just do wreck and shop, which is what they're going to be doing. So I can't wait to see what else they do. Hassan with another comment. Are you guys ready for Elimination Chamber on Toronto, Canada, Peacock coming up next Saturday? Yes, we are. We can't wait to see what the results are going to be. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. We're also going to next show before we're probably going to do another show right before the PLE where we're going to talk about predictions and we're going to rank the best Elimination Chamber matches. So stay tuned for that. Any other thoughts on this show for NXT and TNA? Clips, Ty, any thoughts before we wrap up the show?
To your point about Moose eating the pin, I don't know, because in my opinion, I think especially with this whole TNA WWE partnership, clearly WWE has talent in TNA that they obviously want, like a Jordan
He's
Gray,
one of them.
you know? So I think especially we've seen other TNA acts, they come in, they eat a pin, they get no offense, but we saw Jordan Gray get eliminations still under the TNA brand. So maybe this is a plot of them, hey, we'll help put over Moose. But deep down, they know Moose, once that contract comes up, come over here. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Him and Braun Breaker in a match? Or Fatu?
I say Moose versus Roman.
I don't know if they get to that point. I would love it, but I don't know if they will do it. Cause I still wanted to see Gunther and Reigns go at it at one point. Speaking of people doing well, I'm gonna backtrack. The Hurt Syndicate, I want to give them a shout out because they're doing great work at AEW. I love everything that they're doing there. I love how the fans is chanting, "We want to hurt, we want you to hurt people." I love that. And I think they're gonna get even better because Cedric Alexander will be going to AEW at some point. Now that he's been released probably in 30 or 90 day span. So
I don't know about that.
He goes to TNA?
Problems with his wife.
Yep. Don't forget.
Oh, you can set Tony TK. You can figure that one out, but
TK don't give a fuck. He'll just throw money at him and say, "You really don't want to take this if he really wants him bad enough."
So we'll see. But anyway, Hurt Syndicate. Phenomenal work. I'm glad Shelton Benjamin's finally getting some rub. I think he's one of the most underused talents, especially when he was in his prime. So
for his age, it's crazy what he can still do.
Mm-hmm. But any other thoughts on the shows?
One thing I've got to say too. I know you said like about the whole Tessa Blanchard thing. The thing is too is why she has the reaction she does is there was no public apology ever or anything or like admittance of wrongdoing. So that's just set her back even further. And I think so. Even if she put it out now, it would be too late. So I just think there's no coming back from it. And as you said about the Hurt Syndicate too, if you're not going to build someone up to take that belt off Moxley for the Death Riders thing, the Hurt Corporate Syndicate's your biggest threat in the company right now for AEW. That's who you should have going after them instead of putting the tag titles on them. You should have had like Bobby Lashley come and take down Mox and his Death Riders.
For sure.
They just got to add more people first, so they're gonna probably build up to it. But they just got to, you know,
Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet. You know, Cedric. They just got to build up. They're gonna build up to it because you know Mox and them Death Riders. They got everything on lock. Even though I want Jay White to win the belt, but that's another story.
He ain't getting that belt. Not with Colt being in the picture.
Yeah, no, never.
And whenever Darby comes back from Mount Everest.
Here's something I heard with this too, because the big thing is this briefcase. Something's going to happen with this briefcase that Marina Shafir's carrying at our Revolution, I believe. There was someone holding up a sign in the crowd that said it was like a Simpsons episode to go back and watch it. And it was a ton of people shredding up paper, and they thought it was this big briefcase, and then they opened it was a bunch of shredded paper. The Young Bucks were shredding paper before they left. Is there just a bunch of shredded paper in this briefcase, or is it a new title? Something's going to happen with this briefcase that's going to change the storyline at some point.
Gotta stay tuned. But before we close out, to get back to the main topic of the title of the show, I'm going to ask this question. Is The Rock ruining WrestleMania? I know you got to touch on it a little bit, Mike. Clips, you wasn't here for that part of the show, but Ty, I'll let you go too as well. Do you think The Rock is ruining WrestleMania with how he's handling the whole entire situation?
No, because we only have pretty much 2 matches announced. You know, let's say if we pretty much had every single match route planned and everything, then he's politicking to change something. Yeah, then he's ruining it. But like I said in the beginning, I think it's more so Triple H and the writers did not have anything planned out. Other than obviously the Royal Rumble winners and who are they facing. They had nothing planned out from the end of Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. So they're literally just trying to test the audience pretty much. And see what sticks. And obviously, The Rock's going to get these big pops. He's always going to be most talked about. But I think deep down, it's not needed for this year, especially if he's not wrestling. Because a couple months ago, we're over here fantasy booking him versus Cody, him versus Roman, and we're not going to get neither of those this year. So there's no point of him being there. I don't think he's ruining it because there's nothing to ruin if it's not set in place, in my opinion.
For sure. Clips, if you're there, do you think The Rock's ruining WrestleMania? We'll get back to Clips. Before we head out, though, we're going to talk about the dream matches. I almost forgot about this. So what would be some dream matches you guys would like to see between the NXT, TNA crossing the line? Or you could say WWE in general, because NXT is under that WWE umbrella. Tom, let you go first because your icon kind of says it all. So
yeah, so I'll give you the ones that we missed out on. Obviously,
yeah.
No brainer. First one is Sting and Taker. They had a chance to do it and they still didn't do it. So
I think that would have been like a Shawn and Taker kind of match. Like that's how they would have been.
I just don't know how you book Undertaker at that age against Goldberg, where you sit there like Sting, maybe not. Like I don't know what Vince was doing. Next, I would say definitely.
We know what Vince was doing.
Yeah, we know what he was doing. Next, I would say, you fantasy booked this a dream WrestleMania match, the face of TNA versus the face of the WWE, AJ Styles versus John Cena. I know we got it in WWE,
but we talking about.
But I'm talking about
cut AJ.
At the time, that would have broke numbers. You know, and I would say one last one one last one. I'll give it. Honestly, let's say.
I'm trying to think of one for a best. I'm not
actually, I got one. I'm gonna give love to tag team wrestling, and especially to one team.
Don't still. I'm gonna let you take it away because I know where you're going with this.
I want Bear Money.
Oh, never mind.
Mm.
Bear Money. Okay,
Bear Money versus DX. Simple as that.
You almost had me with one of the Bear Money members. I was hoping you was gonna go America's Most Wanted against.
Hey man, we could talk about
James Storm.
James Storm, Wildcat, Chris Harris. They used to put on some bank. What AMV? Put them against the Usos. Oh, I'm talking about Uso Penitentiary though, not Bloodline Usos. Man, what that would have cooked. I'm not gonna lie. Or Edge and Christian, or the Hardys versus AMV. That would have been fire. But now those are some great matches though. Either way, I'm gonna let you guys go. But there's one match I want to put out there. I don't think anyone's gonna think about it. And I just thought about just off how they wrestle and what their physique and how they present themselves. Braun Breaker, right? Hear me out. I'm still in Clips' motto. Braun Breaker versus someone that was supposed to be one of the faces of TNA, but he ended up leaving and getting a deal with ECW instead. Monty Brown. The Spear versus the Pounce.
You going in your bag for this one.
Spear versus the Pounce. What? Because I just found out the story not too long earlier this week that Monty was supposed to be the TNA champion.
Yeah.
Jarrett was telling him that once he gets some of the older guys or returning guys to the title front feud, he was good to go to get the belt. But for whatever reason, he didn't, whether it was the contract situation or him not wanting to wait, he ended up signing with ECW. And you see how that failed out. But boy, Monty Brown is so heavily underrated. Him and Braun in the match? I ain't gonna lie, Braun gonna have to eat that pin, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Mike, Clips, what would be some dream matches you guys have? Past or current with TNA and WWE NXT under the umbrella kind of niche.
I was gonna say you can go Clips.
This is hard because I really wasn't like. It's hard because TNA didn't have they had a lot of WWE guys too, so it's I wish that he would have gotten Samoa Joe in there in his prime instead of
You can still use that for sure. Imagine a prime Joe versus Batista.
When they had the X division, I wish WWE would have kind of stole that match. I'm not gonna lie.
Amazing Red, Chris Sabin before he got into the tag. There's another person that was in that X division. I'm trying to remember. He don't wrestle. I don't think he wrestles anymore, but he was in that X division matches a lot with Sabin.
Skipper, nigga, he used to call him the school.
That was the other tag team. I couldn't think of the name that used to go back and forth with A and B. Yeah.
It's hard to think about. I wasn't really
I'm gonna have to let you and Mike go because I'm cooking in my head right now. I just thought about mad other teams.
Mike could go. I still got to think.
Yeah, I don't got too much. One thing, this was around the same time period too. So if you integrated the two, if we had the crossover back then, this would have been cool, especially with all the real life heat between some of these people. If you had the Immortal faction in TNA versus like the whole McMahon family that was going along, because Randy Orton was taken out, he even punk kicked Stephanie in the head during that storyline around that time. If you had a few WWE members like say John Cena or someone to that could have been a great storyline. If you want to cross over before now and earlier, if you did LA Knight and Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Anderson, yeah, I believe I believe he was Anderson, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was Anderson back then.
So if you with the
promos, Mr. Kennedy and WWE,
yeah, if you got the promos that you got out of those two, I think you get a good build up. But obviously, if you don't write the story right, they would fall flat out in the face.
Hey, because Ric Flair was still doing pretty good things in that early 2000s. You put him against Jay Lethal. Remember that little promo they did in TNA? But Rick was a lot older then. Or even, who's to say, why not put Abyss, the Monster Abyss versus the Animal Batista? That would be a nice feud to see. Amazing Red would have been dope to see against.
I'll take Abyss versus Fatu right now.
That would be nice too. That would be nice. Damn, I was just thinking about the Team Canada would have been a nice little Survivor Series little program to do.
Nah, I'll take Fatu versus Prime Samoa Joe. That's my
that will cook. Damn, I just had the team on top of my head. It was imagine the Fallen Angel versus the Apex Predator. Christopher Daniels and Randy Orton in the match.
Randy Orton smoking him.
You could do it with Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's pretty similar to Randy Orton the way he's doing his moveset recently.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's not smoking. Clip, I think you heavily underrate Christopher Daniels. Just imagine the BME. Him trying to do the BME and it gets caught into the RKO.
No, true.
That would be like a moment right there. I don't know. I think LA Knight though and Mr. Anderson would have been a nice match. Some women matches though, because I think we don't get love for the women. Taylor Wilde would have been a nice match. I like her against Roxanne Perez, actually. Gail Kim would have been nice, even though she was in WWE too. But Taylor Wilde, someone that don't talk about enough when it comes to the knockouts division. But she used to go some of the hardcore matches. I think she did a Monsters Ball match. Her and Abyss was partners, I believe. But her versus Roxanne Perez would have been nice, or even Sasha Banks. So there's so many dream matches we can talk about, but that's going to conclude today's show, man. If you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.
Oh, wait, before we go, right?
Oh, yeah.
Me, if The Rock is ruining WrestleMania, I say no.
No?
Yeah,
why is that?
Because he's a guaranteed draw. And there's certain things that was left that he did in the Bloodline series from before that people still have questions on and things like that he could play off of. So having him is always going to be a plus aspect, whether it's in the ring or just being a master puppeteer dickhead, excuse my language. It's going to work. It just more so is what they're going to do with Cody and who else is going to be the pieces to fit around it. That's what I'm saying.
The one thing you got to remember too
let's say Cody does get into the bed with The Rock, then that still ignites a feud between him and all his other counterparts that he helped get that, quote unquote, helped him to get there. Huh? What, counterparts?
No, carry on.
What?
I was just trolling. Go ahead. I was just trolling.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, he gets in bed with The Rock, then he still has
and takes the soul, right?
That's why I said, "Hey, yo," because he said that the first time. I was like, "Hold on."
I don't think he's shooting those type of movies.
But yeah, let's say he does, takes the deal. The Rock has placed on the table. No Diddy. And he becomes a heel, then he still has to. You get the heel Cody versus all of the counterparts that helped Cody obtain the belt and shit.
No, that's actually good. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts because I'm kind of agree with you guys overall. I ain't
gonna lie. Sorry, I love how they they intertwined Lil Wayne's song with The Rock. That shit was so hard.
Yeah, that was fire.
That shit was so hard.
Yeah, that was tough. If anyone could do that, that was The Rock. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I want to hear you guys' standpoint on if The Rock is ruining Mania. The reason why I'm not so quick to jump on that bandwagon is because
if you're smart. No, I'm playing.
Jabroni. But the reason why I wasn't so quick to jump on that bandwagon in regards to The Rock ruining Mania is because we haven't really fully indulged in that Mania season yet. I think things kick up post Chamber. So that's why I'm still holding off. Now, if he's doing this stuff and it's not leaning up to something as after Chamber, yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence with it. But right now, I'm open-minded to what they're trying to do story-wise, and I'm curious to see what they do. But right now, all my attention is really on NXT. And I'm starting to get that itch again when it comes to TNA because TNA's starting to feel like it used to be when I first started watching it, with the 6-sided ring, the X Division, all that stuff. So I'm happy for that, and I'm praying for Chris Bay.
I was about to say shout out to Chris Bay because they did say with his injury he wasn't going to be able to walk again, and he just showed a video of him taking his first steps. So that is great progress.
On his birthday too, so that was dope last week to see.
So, yeah, shout out to him. Wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope God is on your side. You're a great wrestler, one of my favorites. The Ultimate Finesser. That's why I want to come to WWE so bad, but we'll see. May God bless him with a speedy recovery. Though, shout out
Chris Bay and Chris Bay in a Mellow match. That would be fire as a dream.
Juwan Evans would be better.
The young OG. I like that.
Him and Ace
Austin.
Yeah.
I like to see them in a tag team versus I know this is not the team that people would like to see, but that's because I'm high on them. Pretty Deadly would be a good matchup. Pretty Deadly and ABC would be dope because of how their styles will mesh and how they can tell the story. But that's going to be it for today's show. If you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Hit that noti bell. Let us know your thoughts on what dream matches you would like to see between TNA and WWE, past and current. Also, please, again, hit that subscribe button. We're about 4 subs away from 200. We'll appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week. We'll give you guys our final predictions for the Elimination Chamber, as well as we're going to rank the best Elimination Chamber matches in WWE history as well. So, again, you guys have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you guys next week.
And smell what The Rock is cooking.
Peace.